Hi everyone. In this video, I'd like to take you through the process of making something called a layer mask or a clipping mask in Photopea. So the first step is to figure out what image you'd like to be viewing through the layer mask. And I have an image already saved to my device that I found. So I'm going to open that file. I'm going to navigate to find it here. Mine is called Painter's Palette. There we go, Paint Palette. And I'm going to click Open. So now I have one layer. If I take a look at my layers menu, I have one layer. That's my background image. What I'd like to do is duplicate that layer. So I'm going to right click it and click duplicate layer. And now I have two of the exact same image. I'm going to go to the bottom layer. I'm going to go through and go to image adjustments. What I'd like to do is make that bottom layer black and white. So I'm going to go to saturation and take the color all the way down on that layer. And now I have one layer of this color. If I hide that layer, I see below it, I've got the black and white layer of exactly the same thing. And that'll all make sense in a minute. What I want to do for this project as I take you through it is use a text layer as my clipping mask. So I'm going to go to text and I'm going to place some text here. It'll automatically create a new layer on the right. You see text layer 2. And I'm going to start typing into that layer a quote from an artist named Henri Matisse. From creativity takes courage, period. Now you can see it got hidden over there on the side a little bit. We're going to go right around there. And I'm going to adjust the size of this font so I can get it a little larger. Let's make it about 200 and see what we got there. Let's go 250. All right, that looks pretty good, but my spacing's a little bit off there. So I can go into this layer and I look at my little hidden menu over here. If I go to the character, I can play around with what's called the leading, which is the space in between my text there. So I'm going to go and try to increase that to, let's say, 150 and see what we like there. A little more. We'll go 175. A little more. Let's go 200. That looks pretty good right there. Creativity takes courage. The spacing looks good. Let's hide that menu. Let's go use this move tool to try to lock that into the middle. All right, now we're ready to create this mask. At this point, in order to create a mask in Photopea, what I need is the mask layer to be hidden underneath the color layer. So I'm going to take my color layer and raise it above the text layer. So now all of a sudden the text layer is hidden. I'm going to right click the color image that's above the text layer. I'm going to go use the option clipping mask. And what you see is the image now is viewed through the clipping mask of the text layer. So anything that was, let's back up for a second. If we look at my text layer, it's black, right? The text is black. So anything that is black in this text layer, whether it was a shape or a letter or whatever, whatever is black is going to be used as the mask. So let's go back through that step again and go to clipping mask. And at this point, it's kind of hidden in there a little bit because it's a color version of a black and white image of this, and it's placed on the same exact position on the layer. So it's a little tricky to see. So what we can do to make that stand out a little more is to take the text layer and go to layer style. So we're in the layer menu, layer style, and go to stroke. And there we go. Those options are is to give you an outline. That's what stroke means there. We can increase it if we want it to be really bold. You can decrease it if you want it to be a little finer. It's really up to you at this point. You can also play around with the color choices. I'm going to stick with black there. And what I have done then is created a clipping mask or a layer mask using a text layer in Photopea. You can do this with any type of image, as long as you've got an image file and a clipping mask layer to view it through. You can create a clipping mask or a layer mask in Photopea. So at this point, if I'd like to save the file, I go to File, Export As, PNG is going to be a higher quality file. It's going to be a little crisper and clearer. JPEG has a little bit more compression, so you might notice some artifacts or some compression happening there. So you can click on PNG. It'll take you through the process there. I'm zoomed way out. That's why the image looks small, 100%. And then you click save, and what it'll do is save it with whatever file name you had up here as whatever file type you choose. So that is how you create a layer mask or a clipping mask in Photopea.